Welcome to the Cross Border Interviews, the show where we sit down and dive into the insights of municipal political leaders from across Canada. Our mission on this show is quite simple. We want to shine a light on the dedicated individuals who day in and day out work around the council table to shape the communities that we call home. From February 27th to March 1st of this year, we traveled to Yellowknife, Northwest Territories to attend the 59th Annual Northwest Territories Association of Communities Convention. And while there, we sat down in person with municipal leaders from across the territory. And for today's episode, we sit down and chat with Hay River Councillor Robert Bouchard. Across Canada, our cities, towns, villages, and rural communities are alive with stories waiting to be told. Stories of innovation and economic development, resilience in the face of the housing challenges, and the financial hurdles municipalities overcome every day. At the Cross Border Network, we bring these stories to life. From coast to coast to coast, we're connecting Canadians to the issues shaping our communities and showcasing the people working tirelessly to make them thrive. With your support, we can expand our reach, amplify more voices, and shine a light on the challenges and triumphs of municipal life. For as little as $3.99 a month, you can help us grow and continue sharing the stories that matter most. Join us today and be part of this important mission. Together, we can tell more stories, build stronger communities, and make a real difference. Support the Cross Border Network now. Visit www.crossborderinterviews.ca today.
Robert, thank you so much for sitting down with me. I've got to start a simple question to kick off this interview. Where'd your sense of duty to serve your community come from, Robert?
Just being involved in the community is just living there all my life type thing. So just kind of giving back.
Was politics always in the family blood, or are you the black sheep of the family?
I think council is a little different. You're involved and you get involved in some of the community groups and stuff like that. So you just kind of transition to the point, okay, well, let's make a difference on some of the politics side. I want to say the council, you're still kind of an active role in the community, taking on causes and stuff like that. So it's not as much of a politics. I think it's more just being engaged in the community and, contributing.
Now, this question is a unique one for yourself because you've served as an MLA for the Northwest Territories, but also as a councillor for your community. I would get a sense that there's an apathy in this country when it comes to politics today. Unless you're in the federal level of government, there's a big apathy. Do you get that sense that from when you were your time as an MLA, even now is your time as councillor? Or do you think people are tuned in Hay River?
Yeah, I think it's, there's just a feeling, I don't think social media is a benefit for it. It's just people don't have I want to say they have a cause about. They like to complain about the weather. They complain about lawyers, and they complain about politicians, and sometimes they throw us all in the same bus type thing. So it's I think social media we're a now community or organization, and people want results, and that's where you're seeing a lot of at the Legislative Assembly here, and now maybe with federally, there's times where we want to change. We want results, and sometimes they're hard to make. But
So how do you make those tough decisions? Those tough decisions that people will be affected by? Because I can imagine you've come to the realization after your time as an MLA, your time as a councillor, that not 100% of the people are ever going to be behind your decision making.
No, there's always that difficulty, and there's always a group that's very challenging. But the
Does
majority
it get easier?
I don't know if it gets easier. Like, I think social media has made it very easy for people to criticize easier. But then in how you manage that and how you react to it makes politics a little more difficult. I want to say MLAs are under the scrutiny and under demand a lot more because people can call them out on social media, even if they're not from their community. Like we've had, people have some people are better at it than others. And I want to say I'm not a good social media arguer. I tend to take my conversations on a personal level, and typically there's an excuse, I'll call it an excuse, but a reason why we make decisions and go forward in certain directions. Some of it's financial, some of it's, we have to do this, or we're challenged by, just whether it's a land claims issue for land or development type stuff, or whether it's regulatory process, which sometimes seems like it's getting more and more burdensome. But yeah.
I want to turn to the big context of why I'm having you on the show, because you've held those two positions, as we've talked about already. What role does the MLA play in advocating for municipal issues, do you believe?
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult because you're dealing with 19 people from different communities.
Because here you're a consensus government. It's not a party structure.
Yeah. It's similar in the ways that you have to all work together. We have 8 people and a mayor on our council, so there's 9 people that have to make a decision. So you got to learn to play in the sandbox and figure out there's some things and give your opinion on where you want to go. Whereas same thing at the ledge, same thing. You've got to deal with 19 people. Yes, we have 2 in Abraham, but and even the Yellowknife, all the MLAs in Yellowknife don't all agree on certain topics, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of taking those opinions and kind of trying to negotiate a compromise for everybody, right? And you're hearing right now politically, do we start a group that has a similar type thing? And so it's going to be difficult with some of those because all the different communities have demands, right? And I know in our assembly, it was like, okay, yes, there was some consensus there. We had some movement. We were able to challenge Bob and his cabinet at the time when we were as a regular member group. But we always had people wanting to stray because they could always go pre-negotiate something. If I'll give him a vote for, something that I need in my community, or same thing with the regular members. Like I'm willing to support this, but I need certain things in my communities as well, right? So everyone needs a little bit of success, I guess, to most up their ratings as well as getting things for their community.
Do you get a sense that when MLAs get together, they don't look at it as a Hay River issue or a Yellowknife issue or an Inuvik issue? They look at it as a Northwest Territory issue. And does that hurt municipalities, do you think?
It depends on the topic. Like, and in Hay River, we were begging for dredging at the time. I was pushing for fishing industry type stuff. So it was always, that was a Hay River thing, but they also need the port for Hay River to be operational, similar to the concerns we have right now, because all the communities up the river needed access, right? So, and we're running into that issue right now. Last meetings here last year, everyone was like, we need to help MTS be able to operate more. So, and I want to say that's helped us out. We've been able to do some dredging in the Hay River area, and yeah, the MLAs have obviously been pushing for that as well. So
it helps when you have a premier and a city cabinet.
Yeah, it's still a matter of they still have to please everybody else. Everybody else needs to go forward. So it's not I think the federal government's helped a little bit activity wise and funding wise for many of those projects. So
I want to just turn to Hay River because you're a councillor, so I want to get your opinion on the challenges that are faced the community right now.
Yeah, we're definitely, all our residents, just like it's a countrywide type thing. The cost of living obviously is an issue, and people are focused mainly on that.
Is there a cost of living issue there? Because you're so. We just had the shadow with your mayor, and you're the hub of the north. Like you were a hop, skip, and jump from the Alberta border. So, Are you still seeing that cost of living challenge?
Yeah, I think so. I think the numbers. People are always challenged with it. We have a fair bit of seniors in our community, so some of them are fixed income, so they're seeing the challenges of costs of groceries and fuel and stuff going up. They've leveled off lately, but it's still an issue, right? So,
what role does the municipality play in addressing that cost of living issue? Because it's a multi-pronged effect. You need the territorial government, you need the federal, you need the municipal government, you need outside global factors to come into play here. What role does the municipality play in the short term to address it?
Yeah, we're probably one of the advocates there, just trying to get federal and territorial government involved. Like, these are the issues. How do we make that happen?
Do you think you're being heard?
Being hurt by
the federal government, the territorial government.
I know we've got benefits a great deal from lift station repairs. Obviously, disaster relief in the River. We've had some major disasters, so that's been beneficial. I don't think we're being hurt by either one of the groups, but
I mean heard.
Oh,
Like
hurt.
being
Yeah.
hurt.
I thought you said hurt.
Sorry.
Yeah, are we being hurt? I think we are.
hurt.
I think we are. Obviously, I think we have, we have the benefit, like you said, two members on cabinet, so I know both of them know Hay River very well. Federally, I think we're, currently being represented. Obviously, if we're the right color, territorially, and the right color being led in Ottawa makes a difference. I think that's my personal opinion, but yeah, I think it makes a difference when you have the same color. And obviously, I know Michael from a long time, our MP, from years back type thing. But yeah, just to engage. I think we have an engaged group at all levels right now.
What advice do you give to other municipal leaders? Because you've been on both sides. When you're dealing with those challenges, what's the best way to advocate to your MLA or your MP? Because you have that connection with Michael McLeod, your MP. You've been an MLA, so you know how people operate. What's your advice to people who are dealing with those advocacy issues?
Yeah, I think, we all want things right away. We want immediate results. We're doing with some organizations in our community that want results. We're having issues with some crimes, some different issues in the community, and they want to make a result right away. And some of that stuff's going to take some time. We have to get people together. We have to get the federal government on top, with justice systems, the RCMP, different organizations or healthy communities groups needs to work on how to move things forward, and that's not an immediate answer for some people. So patience is one of the things that, as a politician, we have to learn. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've lost the handle a few times and just kind of gotten mad at stuff, but that's typically because I have a passion for something, and people understand that. It's like, if I'm complaining that Hay River fishery hasn't gotten the support that it had at the time. Now we have a fish plant. We're starting to move forward and build that industry, and I know it's growing in Yellowknife here. The fishers here are doing more and more production and stuff like that, and selling in more to restaurants and stuff. So that's a good base. Yeah, it's just, I think you got to be patient to move some stuff along. Like at the MLA level, there's a capital budget. There's a 10-year capital budget. Same thing with the municipality. There's a 10-year capital budget. So we have 3 new councillors. How do you get something that you want to do on the capital budget? It's like, you got to get it on the 10-year plan and then try to move it as far ahead as quickly as possible. And some stuff will move up quickly if we find funding for it, or if it's a passion for the community and there's demand. It can happen, but it's not a snap of the fingers as much as people on social media want us to solve all the problems.
You're breaking the news here that social media is not the place where things actually take place. Come on, Robert.
Yeah, well, I think most of us are following it and hear it. And
so you don't think there's an apathy in Hay River about what's going on? Like, do you get people in tuned?
No, I think there's actually people who are pushing and saying we need to be part of some of the changes. We need to rally some of the groups together. We have a group in 553. We have a group in Old Town that are kind of working on their own plans and stuff like that, and they've taken it, and they're taking to hopefully a community watch they're trying to build up and make for the whole community, which we hope will help in that type of stuff. So out of small fires can grow big bonfires type thing to make change. So I think as we go forward, you kind of can make small, like we we're just talking about in the smaller communities or in Northwest Territories, you can be a small fish in a big in the big pond, but you can make a difference if a small group of people can make a big difference in some of the communities. So I think we're seeing some of that in Hay River, hopefully.
I want to turn to my last subject because I'm cautious of time, and we're here at the NWTAC conference, and I know you have to get back in there. I want to talk about tourism. What's your favorite spot what's your favorite thing to do in Hay River, and what are the things that people need to do if they drive through Hay River?
I mean, we love the lake and the river type thing. We've got water right beside us, and lots of us spend time on there or actually camp by there type thing. But Hay River's it's a beautiful little community. People are surprised with the amenities we have. We have been a shipping company, so typically when I take someone for a tour, they take them out to St. Croix and show them barges and big boats and stuff like that, and Canadian Coast Guard, which we're probably the biggest, most inland Canadian Coast Guard base in Canada. We are a long ways from any major body of water other than the Mackenzie, I guess, and the Great Slave Lake. But yeah, tourism is an industry that I think is coming back slowly. I know it's coming back in Yellowknife on the Aurora side, but in Hay River we're starting to see a little bit more. Numbers are slowly creeping up. We we had COVID, and then lots of people did some in. We had lots of tourists from the Northwest Territories come to Hay River and kind of stay there and
A
enjoy
lot of internal tourism
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, and I want to say people have been traveling to Fort Smith and other communities in the north and just kind of, going out to lodges that they normally wouldn't go to. Right? We were talking about Nahanni National Park there, and a few people have been going out to there a little bit more recently, just because it's kind of it's a bucket list. And if you've never been to Fluent to Virginia Falls, it's a story. It's an experience. So
I'll have to make sure I get up there.
yeah.
Before I let you go, one final question. What makes Hay River such a unique place to live, work, and raise a family, Councillor?
Well, I think it's just a small community. You close knit. You probably know your neighbors. You kind of know the concept, and yeah, it's just people always talk about it's mainly not the community. It's the people that are there, and we have teachers and we have people RCMP that have retired there. It just seems like a place that people like to spend time and get to know and hang out. And there's a net. You can always have a group of friends that are close by, and there's no city traffic. There's no.
You're speaking my love language, Robert. Robert, thank you so much for doing this. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Do the shake.
We want to thank our guests for joining us today and sitting down with us at the convention in Yellowknife from February 27th to March 1st at the Northwest Territories Association of Communities Convention. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Cross Border Interviews. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights. To stay in the loop with all of our latest episodes or catch up on past episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform, YouTube, or follow us on social media. For even more content and learn more about the stories and people we feature here on this show, visit us online at crossborderinterviews.ca. Your support means the world to us, so share this episode with your friends, your family, and even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you back here for a new episode of Cross Border Interviews soon. Till then.